Welcome to lesson 95. Now that you know how to find all the central tendencies, we're going to get more practice. We will definitely need a calculator for today. And in this lesson, we're going to make sure that you can consistently calculate all the different averages and range. Sydney and her friends take the bus to school. She asked how long they ride the bus. Here is their data in minutes. So I have a set of 8 numbers. We're going to find the mean, median, and range of the data set. So I'm going to put it in the order that makes the most sense. So we're going to do the range first, then the median, and then the mean. 2 of these will require that the numbers are in least to greatest. So I'm just going to set it up anyway in that way. So I'm going to rewrite the numbers. Let's see, I want to make sure I have them correctly. Okay, there you go. We'll start with range. And remember, range is the maximum minus your minimum value. So those are easy enough to identify. Our range would be, our maximum value is 17 and our minimum is 1. So our range is 16. So that means that's the span of our numbers. Our data spans across 16 different sets. Let's look at median. And for median, I'm going to rewrite these numbers. We're going to look for the middle. And some kids just remember this, like if I have a medium size, or medium is between small and large. That's all it is. Median, middle. So it's what's in the middle. It is even, so I know I'm going to end up with 2 numbers, so we know we're going to have an extra step. So I'm just going to start from the ends. And I have 2 numbers in the middle. So when that happens, you have to think what number is between 8 and 10. We know it's 9. If you can't see it, like let's say you get 2 numbers where it's really hard to tell, like you get 17 and 32, and you're trying to figure out what's in the middle. It happens. So you could also just do 8 plus 10 and divide it by 2. 18 divided by 2 also gives us 9. The median is 9. All right, now let's get ready to write the mean. And that means I'm going to have the sum of all my data divided by the number in the set. There are 8 numbers in the set, so I'm going to have to do 1 plus 3 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 15 and plus 17. I am not going to do this by hand. I am going to use my calculator. So let's do the first set. 1 plus 3 plus 6 plus 8, which is 18. Plus, let's do the second set. 10 plus 12 plus 15 plus 17. And again, I'm just doing that because if I type in all 8, if I make one mistake, the whole thing is wrong. If I type in one number wrong, the whole thing is messed up. So I just do it in chunks, so I'm less likely to mess up. All right, here's our last part. So I have 72 divided by 8. Whew, all right, that one's pretty easy. So the average 72 divided by 8 is 9. And I'm going to put context to this. So 9 minutes is the mean. The median is 9 minutes. And the range is across 16 sets of numbers. Okay. Let me just put a quick line here to just separate our work. So it's a little bit easier for you to follow along. All right, hit pause and jot this down into your notes. Okay, we have another data set. We're going to find the median and the mean. So let's see, these are two very common ones. So median and mean. I'm checking to just make sure, good. These numbers are already written in order. So 0 0.8, 1.0, 2.7, 2.8, 3.1, and 13.3. We're going to look for the middle number. And I like using a highlighter instead of crossing things out so I can still see my numbers. We have two middle numbers. So again, I'm just going to add them up and divide by 2. And so my median is 2.75. Let's box this. Perfect. I do want to keep space and organization in our work so we can follow along. Let's find our mean now, and that means I have to add up all these numbers. And I'm going to divide, since I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, I'm going to divide by 6. All right, I'm going to add them in sets. So I'm going to just chunk these 3 numbers first, and then chunk these 3 numbers, just to make it so that I'm less likely to make a mistake. Okay, so I get 4 and 5/10 for the first set. And 19 and 2/10 for the second set. I'm just triple checking. Yes, everything looks good. All right, now I can do my last part. $23.7, and let's divide this by 6. And I get 3.95. Now I want to just compare this for a second and look at these two different averages. So one is just, hey, let's just find what's in the middle. And these are in the middle. And my mean is, let's make all the numbers even. Let's just redistribute them, like add everything up and give all 6 the same amount. And notice that my mean is higher. This makes sense because I have one number that's pretty high. This 13 is a pretty big number. So it pulls my data. It means my mean is going to be larger than if I just used my middle numbers. So hit pause and jot this down. And thing to just be aware of, your averages may not be the same. Your mean, your median, or your mode, they may be different numbers depending on the data set itself. Riley took 5 tests in science. That's why I have 5 boxes there. Each test has a different score. The mean score was 90. The median score was 85. Based on this information, select 2 statements that must be true. So let's fill in what we do know. We know that the median was 85, so our middle number. And we know that the mean was 90, meaning whatever the others were, A plus B plus C plus D plus 85, when she divided by 5, she got 90. So what number divided by 5 gives us 90? 450. So that means the sum of all scores is 450. Okay, so if you added up all of these numbers, you will get 450, because 450 divided by 5 gives us 90. Okay, so that's all we know right now. We're going to try and use just this information to figure out. One thing I do know is that because my mean is 90, is a bigger number over here, that means that these two must have been pretty high for our average to equal 90. Does that make sense? So even just imagine, if she gets a perfect 100 here, that's already 185 points. And so she probably had another high score in the 90s to get such a high average. All right, let's look at what we have here. Let's look at the first one. First one says more than half of the scores were 85 or greater. So is that true? More than half of them, so 3 of them, at least 3 were an 85 or greater. That has to be true, because if 85 is my middle number and these two are greater than 85, then that's telling me that 3 scores are 85 or higher. So that is true. And we know that because the median is equal to 85. And that means that the other 2 have to also be 3 scores are 85 or higher. So A is true. Let's look at the second one. More than half the scores were 90 or greater. Well, that one's not true, because even if this one was a 90 and this was a 91, that would only be 2 out of 5. So not possible. That's not more than half. There were no scores less than 85. Well, we know that's not true because 2 scores were less than 85. And we know that because 85 is the median. That's why this box really helps me. So nope, that cannot be true. We know we have 2 that are less than 85. There are no scores less than 90. That can't be true because we definitely know that 3 scores are less than 90. And we know that's true because we absolutely have an 85. Okay, let's look at E. At least 1 score was exactly 85. True. 85 is the median. So that is true. All right, and for F, at least 1 score was 90. I honestly don't have enough evidence for that. I really don't, because this is how I kind of look at it, Math Marbles. If I have an 85 plus 90, maybe this one is 100. Just adding these 3, I would get 275. That's not enough. Like, even these 2 numbers have to be less than 85. They have to be. So even if they were 84 and 83, that's not enough for me to get to 450. Try it out. Let's actually try it and see. This would be 167 plus 275. It's close, 442, but that's not enough. When I divide this by 5, I'm not going to get a mean of 90. It's close, but that means that she absolutely had a score that was greater than 90. But we did find the 2 that were true, A and E. So hit pause and jot those down. But you can see how my logic really helps, and me creating a visual for this was really important. That's it for today, Math Marbles. We're using our knowledge information of means and modes in order to really answer some questions about data sets. We'll get some more practice in, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Be well.